Hey guys, Nick here. Glad you're here tuning in. Got some exciting stuff to show for today's video. As you see in the title, my team won the Houston, Texas Standard Springfest. We got first place. Got this cool medal. Very cool. I was very excited. The whole event was really fun. I'm probably not gonna make like a video of like me talking about the whole thing, but short story. Met a lot of old friends that were cool. It's been a while since I saw them since the whole pandemic stuff, and then the vet ran very smoothly for all things considering. They know that they were super short staffed, and all the volunteers and the event organizer, Bushiroad, good job guys. The tournament ran smoothly and pretty much on time and very quick. So yeah, we got first place. Team name we got carried. Took us a while to figure out the name, but it was all good. And then the prize cards that we won. So everyone gets a Fusado. So that's the promo that you get for winning. And then you also get to choose an over trigger. And then as you know, I do enjoy Lyrical Monasterio, so I picked this. It was pretty cool because our team had a rule on how we decide on who gets what overtrigger was based on win record. I had the best record out of the team, so I got to pick first. So pick the Lyrical overtrigger. Probably not going to be putting it in my standard deck. It's probably going to go in my premium or just in my collection binder. I like the art, but not my favorite. If I could, pick which art to use for the overtrigger, but that's okay. Really cool. And it looks like this is the artwork that's also going to be used for the Lyrical reprint. So like all the overtriggers are going to get reprinted. So that was the one to use. So anyway, let's get into the deck profile. I'll just go over what I use, which you can see as you saw the title of the video. I used Lyrical, Kairi, and let's just kind of go over why I picked the deck and the choices, things like that. So let's start with the ride line, very basic, but I used the grade 0, Mion, Nasumi for the grade 1, Kiora grade 2, and Kairi for grade 3. So as much as I like to use the other starter, because I did see there's a new starter in set 2, there was like a really cute card I liked, but I can't use it unfortunately for the Kairi deck because the name right here, Astatice, I don't know how to pronounce that, but there are cards that require your grade 2, 1, and 0 with that name to be, to use their effects. So, I have to use these cards because, makes the deck consistent. But they have their purpose. The grade 1 doesn't really matter too much. Never used her effect. She's just there just because of the ride line. But the grade 2 actually does see a lot of play. So, you see it on the Vanguard. It's a Vanguard rear guard effect and stuff. So her effect is when she's on Van, when she swings, you bounce her rear guard on your field to your hand. So that's cool. And then on rear guard, she gets 5k power when she's being boosted. So it's always good. 15k beater when she's being boosted with an 8k, 23k hits numbers. So very good card. You're going to see this card go to the rear guard side, sometimes. So, you actually do utilize your ride deck pretty much for the full potential. Yeah, even the grade 3 Kairi. So, all of it has their purpose. So, that's the ride line. Triggers, I mean, not too special. So, for the crits, 8 crits. So I use 4 vanillas, 4 of the effect crits. Crits are pretty crucial still. It's a pretty aggro beatdown deck in general. So crits, helps you win games pretty quickly or efficiently. The effect crits, the effect itself of going into the soul doesn't really do anything that I notice for all matchups in general. Now, I will say that this crit trigger was very useful in the prison matchup, though. So that was definitely a very useful card for that particular matchup. I'll get that into in a moment, but, that was definitely important. 4 heals, obviously, so you don't want to die. There was a lot of games that helped me healed out, so heals are good. 3 draws. These are actually really good. They're 10k shields when your opponent's on grade 3. And then yeah, 10k shield, draw trigger lets you draw, always good. You can probably make a crit go down to 7 crits and 4 draws if you want to try that. I've seen some lists that did it, but I still feel like crit gives you more value of winning quicker or more efficiently, and draws just to help fix just stabilize your hand, things like that. And then for the overtrigger, I am using the clamp. This is my favorite overtrigger art out of the group. And then I guess my next one would be like the angel looking card, so that's also like high up there, but I'm using the clamp one. Now for the grade 1s, pretty much let's just go with the easy stuff. For PGs, PG is the effect one that you can, the standard overdress effect one. Then for the others, I also have 4 copies of Next Step Lapume. I think that's how it's pronounced. Actually, very good card. Pretty much, when you use her effect, when she's placed on R, if you have a Vanguard with that Astestes name, so pretty much the effect will always work, so don't worry about it, unless you're trying to tech it with something else. But you choose a grade 2 or less Astestes in its card name from your soul. You may call it to rearguard as rested, but if you call it during the battle phase, then that card is standing instead. So what's kind of cool is that on the first turn, when you do your write up for your turn, so when you go from your 0 to 1, you actually discard this card. Is usually ideal because you can also then get the starter right out. So that's very useful. And then obviously during the battle phase, you can pretty much make a column. So the Kairi deck itself is a 5 attack deck. If in general, it's not that hard to do 5 attacks with a deck. Sometimes doing 4 attacks is better, but this will make your 5 attacks a lot stronger instead of doing a very strong 4 attack. So this card has came in clutch quite a few times. Very, very important card of the deck. And then now the MVP, I would say, for the grade 1 lineup, it's probably one of the best cards in the set, to be honest, because when I was opening the packs for Lyrical Monasterio, I did a video, so check that out if you haven't seen it yet. I actually haven't really read through all the cards, so a lot of the cards I didn't know, except for like the Kairi cards, because they were like on the card of the day. So the card I'm talking about is Eileen. So I run 4 copies. Sadly, I need 1 more SP, but then all of a sudden the SPs are like 30 bucks each, so I pass. I might actually do get it though, because having 3 SPs and 1 non-SPs, it's kind of driving me nuts. But anyway, her effect is when this unit boosts a rear guard, look at the top card of your deck and you can put it on top or bottom of your deck. Very simple effect, pretty insane if you ask me, because pretty much your Hexa Orb, your OTT, your Genesis, whatever you want to call it, you're able to start stacking your deck. So when I use it, it actually really sped up my my quality of drive checks. So in general, I had the chance to see my overtrigger a little bit more, compared to other decks. I always, it was pretty efficient. I mean, I see crit, I just leave it on top. And then your opponent freaks out because you left it on top. They might guard it, so you can make them use a card up. Especially, it's kind of cool that, like, let's say it's the grade 4 Kairi and you need that still in your hand, and then you see it during your peak. You can just leave the grade 4 Kairi on top of your deck, and then so you can drive check it, but your opponent thinks you left a trigger on top. So there's a little bit of mind games with it. So pretty cool card. Unfortunately, it doesn't work when you boost the Vanguard, so it has to be with the rear guard. So there you go. And it's kind of cool with the way the deck is set up. You can do early rush because you're grade, you'll have a grade 1 in front and her in the back. That's okay because when you go up to grade 2, you can bounce the grade 1 back to your hand. So, you can definitely do a lot of rush. This card is just super good. Always try to see if you can get these 2 cards in your opening hand. That means you're just winning pretty hard. And then finally, to wrap up my grade 1s, I use 2 copy of Kadia. I see people use 3 to 4. I just use 2. I think that's just enough. Pretty much, she's a 15k beater. Or if you're playing against a prison deck, she's 10k beater because they, usually they have that card with that -5. So, pretty sweet card. This card is also pretty nice early game because if you play her, she'll be at 15k. You probably have a grade 1 behind. You probably have that as your, your field. And then when you swing, you check your top card, and then the grade 2, when the grade 2 card swings, where it is, here it is. When she swings, you can just bounce this back into your hand. So it's not like, you lost out on much. So you can be very, very aggressive with this deck. So very good card. And then plus the fact that Kairi bounces cards and calls them back. So, that's the whole point. You're getting a lot of value in these pumps. For grade 2s, very basic, not that complex. I just use 4 copies of Melty. Pretty much, this is our version of Alden. Very easy to use. It has a friend effect, but that's irrelevant for this deck. So her effect that we mainly use her for is when placed on rear guard during your main phase. So if you call this during the battle phase, it doesn't work. But during the main phase, you counterblast 1, call a card that's the same grade or less than your Vanguard from your hand. And then if you do, you draw a card. So, cool. So, pretty easy. Help, speed up your deck. It's a very nice card to have. So, very good. Only 1 counterblast, too. And as you notice, the deck doesn't really do a lot of counterblasting anyway. So, all your counterblast is just for her, pretty much. So, very nice. And then I have 1 copy of Lopal. Pretty much for Lopal, she's just a 15k shield. Just when you guard with her, you show your opponent the Kairi. Did it really help a lot? I don't know. It's I think it came up a few times where the shield value was pretty good, but a lot of times I ended up just discarding it for the ride assist. So I don't know. That card could be cut, or you could add more, and maybe you'll see it a lot. I'll see it a lot better, more efficiently. So anyway, for the grade 3s, pretty simple. I use let's start with Kairi. I do 2 copies of the grade 3 Kairis. Reason behind that is because there are times where for some reason you don't get the grade 4. The problem with this Kairi deck is that if you don't have grade 4 and you're not persona writing, the deck is really, really bad. That's like low rolling. You might as well scoop unless you can kind of really sack some aggro play where you just swing with everything, soul blast, and bounce the 2 back so they don't get killed. That's like a really bad play, but that's all you got. That's all you got. So I do have 2 grade 3 Kairas in the deck, so I can at least persona ride if I don't have the grade 4. And plus, it's not bad persona riding. You're getting 10k front row, you're bouncing 2 units, and then you're calling 2 units back. So the multi-attack, it'll be a 4 attack deck turn instead of the good old 5. But the 4 attacks will be really strong, very high quality. So that's not too bad at all. And then I have 3 copies of Calfee. I really wish this card was foil, but it's not. It's a trial deck card, so sorry if it's not shiny, because I know the whole deck's pretty much shiny except for her, but what can you do? Anyway, her effect is when you play her, she gets 10k, so pretty much she's a 20k beater. So just like the grade 1, where the grade 1's a 15k beater, I guess because she's grade 3, she's a little stronger, so there you go. But yeah, 20k beater. You call it. She's 20k. When you on the grade 4 Kairi, which I'll show in a moment, but her effect will make this a 25k beater. So very good card. This card is pretty much your your fighter in the deck, so to speak. This card does put in a ton of work. It's very nice to have. And then I have 2 copies of Kinkei, aka the Rat. It's like it's not a bad. It's a very good card. I'm just not really sold on the art for it. It's cute, but not that cute compared to other lyrical cards. But what can you do? It's actually pretty important because this effect actually was pretty useful against the prison matchups because you had to really play around with your soul so they don't get their pure light craziness on you. But pretty much her effect is when this unit is placed on R, choose a grade 2 or less rear guard with the acetize in its name from your drop, and you may put it into your soul. And if you put it into your soul, counterblast gets 10k. So the reason I didn't really like it at first, when I first saw the card, when I was opening my packs, I felt like it's a Calfee clone, kind of, where it costs a CB, because she will be 23 versus the 20 for the cat. And it's kind of ironic, cat and mouse. So, kind of, I just noticed that just now. So, I guess that's probably why I'm not too crazy with the card. But, my teammate did say that this card is pretty good. I knew it was already pretty good because during my play testing practice with this deck, I went to my locals, or I have a couple locals I go to, but went to the locals, and a player did use this Kairi deck. Not the same build per se. I mean, a lot of similar cards because we both kind of came to the same conclusion. But I didn't run this. Instead, I ran more copies of Calfee and other grade 2s, and I noticed that his beaters are pretty much way better than mine. So this deck did go through a lot of changes. So a lot of testing. So that play testing it is important. Even though I'm not like the biggest standard stan, but I do see and I understand the value of play testing. You do have to know how your deck works properly and know what cards are just jank, and you just want to find the best possible quality cards. So obviously in a card game, artwork doesn't matter. Sometimes you just have to just play the card based on the effect text. So I do 2 copies of that. And then for the grade 4s, of course, I have 4 copies of Kairi. Very cool. One of them I pulled. One of them actually 2 of them my buddies pulled, and then one I had to buy. Or actually, no, one was pulled by me. Yeah, these 2 were pulled by me, and then 2 were pulled by my friends. So it's nice that I was able to get these out, at least an SP and above rarity. Don't know if I want to get 4 of them. Maybe I do. I don't know. Pretty much they're like insanely expensive, so I don't know if I want to go too nutty on a standard deck. But anyway, what her effect is that when she's on your Vanguard, all of your rear guards placed for the turn gets 5k. So pretty much all your 10k units that gets 10k when played will be a 25 beater. Your 13k will be a 28k beater. Your 8k is a 13k booster. So you're just hitting insane numbers. I mean, even the grade 1 that gets 10k with the 5k power base, 20k booster, or 20k beater, however you want to look at it. You make all your units be able to hit the opponent's Vanguard without, assuming they don't hit a defensive trigger. You're just poking them. So very, very good. But the deck itself had a lot of good matchups. As far as like what I was playing against, during the tournament, Springfest, I think we did like 7 rounds Swiss, and then obviously the 3 finals. Pretty much the majority of decks I fought for my matchup was the Pure Light deck. Never had an issue against Pure Light. One, I got pretty lucky a few times because I was able to filter out my grade 1 using my grade 1 card to see crits and to see my over trigger, things like that. So very good card. So the Pure Light matchup, pretty much you just manipulate your soul. So this deck is pretty good at doing that. You have your crit trigger, you have the Rat Girl, you have the grade 1 card that calls the cards out of soul. So you have things you can do. Also, the Magnolia matchup. Usually people try to play play around against Magnolia. Uh, for me, I just go bash face. You know, you're not holding anything back. You're just gonna keep on bashing face. I've also fought Nirvana. I think, yeah, Nirvana in the top 8 matchups. Uh, Very close game because he had removal. That's what I was really scared of. But my opponent kind of low rolled, I think, because he wasn't able to get the the arcs, so he to do consistent draws. Like he did play arc, I believe, but he didn't get it like very early, like your typical arc play. Um, and I fought a lot of Magnolias. I fought a lot of Pure Lights. The only decks that I lost during the whole event was Bastion, because he just rolled me pretty high, and then for my triple drive, I mean, I just triple drive nothing. So I ended up just being like 5 or 10K short on his like kill tech. So oops. And then I lost to Magnolia because I just slow rolled so hard. Like I couldn't find any pieces. I had a bunch of triggers in my hand, and it was just all bad. But that was pretty much my Springfest experience. Uh, you know, it's at the end of the video, but I just wanted to, give the shout outs to the Bushiroad staff, running the event very smoothly. Of course, to my teammates, Rod and Johnny, they pretty much help this team like win. You know, it's a team effort, even though, in the end of the day, all I will say is that we all did our part, and we got first, so it shows. So, Team League is very, very fun. So if you never entered a Bushy tournament or a tournament card game in general, and you want to enter it with your friends, and you don't have to have the stress of just worrying about like you trying to win by yourself. Team format is really fun. Definitely a very different format compared to, let's say, like a BCS tournament where it's just a singles, like the standard card game tournament, because everyone in your team can't use the same deck pretty much. So what you have to do is find the best 3 optimal decks and then figure out your placing in your team position. So it's very cool. Team leagues I enjoy a lot because there's just a lot of fun things you do, before the tournament and after the tournament, and then also the play testing you have to do. So it's like a very team fun effort thing kind of do. So definitely try to join a team event if you can. It was really cool because as you know, because of the pandemic and things like that, not a lot of in-person events. We've been having to do everything online, so it was pretty cool. But anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.